Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, I just found out that my wife has been cheating on me with multiple partners for the past 2 years. And a shout out to Adam for sending me this story. And guys, this is about a guy, husband and father, married for 10 years to his wife, thought he had a good marriage. You've all heard that song and dance before. And one day, things came about that made him realize she's not who he thought she was. That she's in fact been having an affair with multiple lovers for a couple of years now, probably longer, as well as many other things going on here. And this guy is very smart. Well, not smart enough to not see what was going on, but now very smart in terms of how he's handling things, and discovered she left a trail. What kind of trail? Well, you'll see, but let's just say a trail of all her cheating, and he's now very methodically gathering evidence to strike. And I thought it'd be a good one to go over here, a sad one, but a good one to go over here to show you that this stuff happens. You have to always pay attention. You can't turn a blind eye, and even if you think you know somebody all these years, sometimes you don't. And in a situation like this, you need to go no mercy. Gather your evidence and then strike. It says here, I'm in shock and I really need some advice right now. I'm 40 years old and my wife is 37 and we've been married for 10 years and we recently celebrated our anniversary. We have 2 wonderful kids together. Recently celebrated the anniversary, huh? Since the beginning of the year, things have been off between us. She's been acting strangely since the beginning of the year, irritable, avoiding me, and we haven't been intimate very much. Let me guess, she's probably on her phone all the time and guarding it like you wouldn't believe, amongst many other things. Already, these are signs. Some days she's happy, some others fully irritated. Sometimes she's a great mother to our kids, and some other times she wishes that they never had been born. What the fuck? She's actually saying that? She wished they'd never been born? Well, she's a fucking asshole. Yeah, sure, kids can be a challenge. I'm not a parent, but I'm an uncle, and I've seen my nephews as little kids, and goddamn, I mean, back in the day when they were little, I'd hang out with them for a couple hours. I was exhausted. But still, saying you wish they were never born? Recently, I had to go to the urologist for urinary tract infection, and this test suggests it might be an STD. This was a huge shock because I've never been with anyone other than my wife since we started dating. Insult to injury. Right now, she's away on a so-called business seminar, of which I talked about in a different post. She's been keeping diaries for over a decade, and out of desperation, I read all of them for the first time ever. It turns out she's been having multiple S-word partners for the past 2 years. This dumb broad is actually writing this down in diaries that he can find, unless, she thinks she's hiding them, but he knows where they are, that type of thing. Right there for him to find. In particular, there was one affair that lasted over a year, and it seems part of her irritability was due to her lover moving on to someone else. Ha ha ha. Probably a younger chick. I also discovered that she has a hidden Tinder account too, and has been meeting with other men regularly. What a piece of garbage. Look, bitch, if you are unhappy with your marriage, fine. End it. But why should she stay with this guy? We know why. Because he's steady. They'll take care of the kids, they'll contribute to the bills and all that, and she can live the secret life with the guys that give her the butterflies and all that. It's unbelievable. I'm devastated beyond words. I feel lost and unsure what to do, especially since we have 2 little kids who mean more to me than the world. I need some advice on how to handle the situation. Should I confront her immediately? Should I consult a lawyer first? How do I even begin to process this betrayal and protect my kids through all of this? Thank you for your guidance. You can offer it in this incredibly difficult time. So I think this first post was 2 months ago. And then I believe within the last week he had his update here how he's handling things. And of course a lot of people gave him some good advice. And what does he do? In my opinion, now obviously the update's coming soon. If I was reading that for the first time, I'd say, keep your cool as best possible. I say, I'm very sorry it's happened to you, man. You're not alone. Talk to a lawyer, find out all your options. They're probably not going to be good, but find out all your options. Gather all the evidence you can and plan your attack. Don't just explode. Try to keep as calm as possible. Take it one day at a time. Be strong for your kids. Now, his update. He says, thank you all for your invaluable advice and support. It has been a tremendous help during this difficult time. After my last post, my in-laws kindly offered to look after the kids while my wife was away at her seminar. They remain unaware of the turmoil that I've been experiencing. I used this time to go through her diaries and take pictures of their contents. Every entry felt like a stab in the back, leaving me in a state of shock and disbelief. I just don't recognize anymore the person I thought I knew and loved for over a decade. You got the bait and she fooled you, man. Bait and switch, or she fooled you, or who the hell knows. The point is that I think this is who she really is and who you really married. You just didn't know it yet. You know, he says they've been married for 10 years, and so when they got married, I think he said she is 37 now, so she was 27 at the time. You know, found her nice guy, her good guy to settle with, and probably has been cheating the whole fucking time. And by the way, very smart. He's taking pictures of her diary entries. I would take a picture of every single page of all her diaries, even if it's irrelevant shit. Have an archive of it. To avoid going into too much detail, the revelations in the diaries will make any movie or TV series I've ever seen pale in comparison. She's been involved with at least 6 different men over the past 2 years. What? One affair partner is enough? She's got to have 6 and occasionally fuck her husband? These affairs occur not only during her so-called seminars, but also during short business trips, dinners, and other supposed work-related events. Meanwhile, I was at home taking care of the kids and naively believing I was supporting her career. You know, remember, she isn't just cheating on her husband, she's cheating on her kids too. And I'm sure all you guys are thinking it or even typing it at this point. This guy needs to find out that these kids are his kids. I hope they are. This guy's been through enough already. Some of her entries vividly describe the great encounters, how great these encounters were for her, all while expressing gratitude towards me for being a devoted husband and father without a single trace of remorse. Fucking sociopath. Oh, how nice of her to leave the entry. Oh, my husband's so great and wonderful. Well, thanks. Thanks, honey. That's so big of you. This lack of guilt and the extent of her deception makes me question her emotional and mental state. Well, don't go down that path when you're starting to think maybe she's mentally ill, which guaranteed she would use, and people like that would use to justify their actions. You know, no. While reading through her diaries, I felt an overwhelming sense of despair and was seriously contemplating offing myself. In the end, I sought refuge with friends for a few days, as I felt I couldn't be alone. Otherwise, I could do something that I could never be taken back. Bro, I'm sure your whole world is upside down and you feel broken and betrayed. I mean, a lot of us have been cheated on. I know it's like. It was a long time ago in a place far, far away. But, yeah, that pain is unreal. You know, knowing what that feels like, and I'm sure a lot of you too, I would have rather been punched in the stomach by Mike Tyson in his prime in the mid-'80s than have to go through that pain. And I'm sure a lot of you guys might agree with me. Or fucking Muhammad Ali or George Foreman or somebody punch you in the stomach in their prime, then go through that shit. Or Bruce Lee doing a fucking karate kick, you know. But anyhow, ending yourself is not the option. Be strong for the kids. It will get better. They really supported me during a lot of this time and helped me get in contact with a therapist. I'm now talking regularly to a therapist and doing sessions once per week. They also helped me get in touch with lawyers specializing in divorce. There you go. Channel the pain and energy into getting past this shit. I'm also getting treatment for my STD as well. Returning home after picking up the kids from my in-laws was an emotionally devastating experience. I couldn't bring myself to smile at all. At some point, while contemplating all the possible ways I could end myself, my daughter just looked at me and saw my face. Without saying a word, she just came to me and wrapped her arms around me. At the moment, I broke down, held her tightly, and burst into tears in front of her. She's my sweet angel, and the shame of having considered leaving my kids to suffer under their mother's disdain was almost too much to bear. Bro, you're human. You're hurting. You're in pain. But fortunately, you got friends that care about you and help you. Stay strong for your kids, you know? And stay around. You don't want your daughter to end up like their fucking mother one day, you know? For the first time in a few weeks after finding out I could barely sleep at all and had to depend on sleeping pills just to get through the night. My motivation was an all-time low, affecting both my home life and my work life. I forced myself to continue exercising and found out that was the only thing that made me feel better during this time. To whoever said that the previous post that I shouldn't give up on exercise, thank you. You may have just saved my life. That's great. Guys, exercise. Everybody should exercise. I don't care how old you are, you got to do something to get moving. But the problem is when you're so depressed and feeling like the world's over, getting to the gym or to get on that exercise bike or go out for a jog or do some kind of exercise, lifting weights, that's the hard part. Once you start moving, then you feel good. Today I felt like shit, guys. Happens to me. I didn't feel like going to the gym, but I marched my ass into the gym, and it was slow going at first, and by the end, I had a great workout, and I was glad I did it. And I didn't want to. And this is me. I'm the former trainer. Even the former trainers have days you just don't fucking feel like it. But I feel better now. Anyway, my wife's lack of shame is staggering to me. Oh, excuse me, I skipped a paragraph. He says, the stress intensified after my wife returned from her trip. Initially, it took all my energy to hide my disgust at her and the knowledge that I gained about her actions. I've somewhat got used to this now, but it remains emotionally draining. She did notice that something was off, but still appears to believe that I'm entirely unaware of what's transpired. Women aren't dumb. She's going to notice that something's off about you. Her lack of shame is staggering to me. Just recently, she asked me to buy her an expensive gift that I promised her for our 10-year anniversary. What an asshole. For which I made an excuse not to buy, yet, despite her going into another business trip just the day after our anniversary, which was described in extremely painful detail in her diaries. To make matters worse, she was even arranging to meet her latest partner on the day of my birthday. Cheating the day after the anniversary, meeting with one of her lovers on your birthday, she is a twisted asshole. And I'm on the bet she'll probably blame her husband for her cheating. Nowadays, I started to feel a lot better thanks to exercise and therapy. I've never been to a therapist before in my life. And to be honest, I'm now regretting I did not have done it sooner. Despite my wife betraying me in the worst possible way, part of me still thought that maybe this was all my fault. Sir, it's not your fault. Okay, let me rephrase that. A lot of guys do things that don't help themselves, don't help their situation. But at the end of the day, it's the cheater, man or woman, that decides to do despicable acts instead of communicating they're unhappy or trying to work it out or just end it with them. So you may have made mistakes. We all make mistakes, but she's the giant asshole in the situation. Despite her betraying me in the worst possible way, part of me still thought that maybe all this was my fault. Maybe if I'd done this, or maybe if I'd done that, or put more effort into this, blah, blah, blah. I blame myself for a lot of things. My therapist helped me see through that. While I could have done things differently, in the end, I cannot be held responsible for the actions she chose to take. And no one deserves to be betrayed in the way that I was. No one does. If I'm at fault for anything, it's blaming myself for everything, always putting her needs ahead of mine, and trusting her unconditionally without question. Smack! So you can see he's a nice guy. And the sad thing is, you want to be good to someone you love. When a man puts a woman's needs before his, that is a recipe for disaster. Doesn't mean in a marriage you can do some compromising within reason, but always being the one to put all her wants and needs ahead of yours? No. That's a terrible idea. They say weakness. That's just the unfortunate thing. I'm convinced she married this guy because she's thinking he's a sure thing. He'll make a good husband, good father, good provider, and she can do what she wants. While it was extremely hard for me to balance work and looking after the kids alone every time she went on any of these trips, I always let her go after convincing myself that I was doing it for her to support her business. Yeah, her business, when she was getting down to business with all these guys. To let her relieve stress from being at home, that this was what a supportive husband would do, and that maybe if I had been a better job or made her happier, she wouldn't feel the need to escape from home. No amount of attention or anything you could have done that would have stopped her from doing this. The thrill of hooking up with all those guys, probably gossiping about it with her her other wife friends who are probably cheating as well. I'd pay attention to what they're doing. You know, getting the butterflies, the tingles, whatever you want to call it, the excitement, the attention and validation. Nothing you could have done to stop that. I'd be lying if I said I'm not depressed anymore, but I'm certainly doing much better these days. Good, brother. Nowadays, I feel more rage rather than sadness, and it's the rage that's kept me going. My therapist advised me to channel this rage into the things I do, which has worked surprisingly well. If using the rage and the anger gets you through the day to go after her, great. Ignore the Jedi shit about, anger, fear, and aggression lead you to the dark side. If you got to use the fucking dark side and anger and rage to get you through this shit for yourself and your kids towards her, so be it. Get yourself a red lightsaber and swing it around the backyard. But then afterwards, when you've done this, then you can go back to the good side. I talked with 2 law firms about my situation and was advised to collect more evidence, which I've been devoting myself to for the past few weeks. He says I finished digitizing all of her diaries for the past 2 years, which were quite a lot. Every page, that's awesome. Obviously, it was gut-wrenching doing it, but he had to do it. I got access to her computer and found just way too many photos, chat conversations, and documents to help my case. She's been posting all her adventures into a very distorted private group on Facebook, to which I've also taken plenty of screenshots of. Private group on Facebook, huh? What do you want to bet that's some of her mom friends? I've compiled a list of all her escort partners in the diaries, and I've been identifying them one by one on social media, etc. Good. Find out who these assholes are, find out where they live, find out who their wives are, so you can not only strike her, but them when this is all done. Because I guarantee you, at least half of them know she's married and don't care. I've gathered everything I could on her current escort partners and managed to figure out where they live and or work. Now I'm debating whether I should confront them or not. I wouldn't do anything now. First deal with your situation, and then strike hard, do some Cobra Kai shit. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy, after you take care of your situation. The things I've read in these diaries are so bizarre that I thought maybe she was just writing material for some sort of twisted novel. That is, until I found out all the other stuff in her computer as well. Maybe I'm broken myself as well, but part of me is actually enjoying this process of gathering all these tiny pieces of evidence and information and cross-referencing them into her diaries and finding everything I can about her and her lovers. Bro, you're taking pleasure in the revenge you're going to get. Good. Keep doing it. It's better than despair. Part of me wants to see her burn on social media by posting exactly everything I found out, since a big part of her business is centered around social media. I'm refraining myself from doing so, since this would affect both me and the kids, as well as her parents, who've been nothing but kind to me since we got married. I'm also not sure if I should bring this to light to her parents as well, since this will probably devastate them. I wouldn't say anything to the parents until she's served. Then I would go to them. The second you get confirmation she's served, go to the parents and tell them what happened. Say, I have evidence if you want to see this. And say, I can't live like this, and I love you, mom, mother-in-law, father-in-law, but I had to do this. The grandkids love you, but I can't be with her, and it's going to get ugly. I hope you will see this and understand I'm a good man, and not take her side against me, Who knows? I'm planning on confronting her after talking further with the lawyers about how to make sure to gain custody of my kids. The country I live in has a rather unfair tendency of granting custody to the mother, even if she's unfit for it. Shocker, this is why men don't marry anymore. Setting the terms of the divorce and child support. In any case, thank you all for the advice. A few weeks ago, I was in full despair and had no idea what to do or how to approach the situation. Nowadays, I feel that little by little, I'm digging myself out of this hole I've been thrown into. Sorry if I don't respond to all your comments right now. My full attention is devoted to protecting my kid. That's okay. Protect those kids. Listen to your lawyer or lawyers. And if they say, don't put stuff on social media, don't try to get her fired, don't do all that yet, then listen to them. Do what's best. I can play the long game here. And I think once this guy, things go in the direction hopefully he wants, then he can, if he wants to, put her stuff on social media or certainly let all the affair partners' wives know about these things, and so be it. But listen to your lawyers. I can't stress that enough. So this poor bastard here, but anyhow, he is using his anger, his rage to get through this whole thing, and I hope like hell he, justice is served, and this guy here gets a break. But right then he said, in my country, basically men get the shaft. Shocker. So a couple comments, and then I will wrap this up. One guy says, what an absolute piece of shit your wife is. Document and keep gathering info to do everything you can to get full custody of your kids. Do it for them. They'll grow up and come understand that their mother is a mentally ill whore that destroyed their family. Well, I don't want to let her slither into the mentally ill category protection there, because otherwise then she can justify, I'm mentally ill, so it wasn't my fault. I'm a victim of my mental illness, and woe is me. No. She's choosing to do this. It's not a mistake, which I guarantee she'll say. And by the way, when he serves her, I guarantee you, very likely he's going to get the waterworks from her, begging and pleading, or she'll gaslight him and say, it's your fault for this, your fault for that. Hope he doesn't fall for it. And I don't think he will. Keep going to therapy and see a psychiatrist to get on your medication if they deem it necessary. You need to keep your nerve and level head as you get through this. Meanwhile, look up Grey Rock and 180. And one more guy says, stay away from her escort partners. Won't do any good, and they don't give a shit about you. Suggestion, don't confront her. Have her serve divorce papers as a surprise and visit her parents at the exact same time as she's being served and inform them of the coming divorce and a description of what she's been up to. If any of her partners have spouses, dig into this, ensure they are informed of this, follow your lawyer's advice, they know best. Amen. And I'm hoping he has a very good, reputable lawyer or lawyers. probably a female lawyer who has no problem going to the mattresses against this asshole wife of his. So there you go, guys. It's an unfortunate situation, but this guy's handling as best he can. And this goes to show you, you can never let your guard down. Isn't that unfortunate? But you can't. And you always pay attention to red flags. All these business meetings, business trips, her bitchiness attitude, suddenly slowing down with the loving, guarding her phone like crazy. I mean, all these things. One of those things, okay. But when you start putting all those together, where there's smoke, there's fire. So anyhow, there you go. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.